What's up, everybody, and welcome to my, well, I guess for the first time ever now, well, in a very long time, for SmackDown, the official draft, and SmackDown now going live on Tuesday nights. There's a lot to say about this show, who was drafted, who went to which show, and give my overall feelings about it, really, because I know a lot of people have very mixed or they have shitted on it. And I do know the rating have probably went up a little bit good for SmackDown this time, but will it really change? Because how I look at it right now is just like same shit, different people on the show. But when we kicked off the show, SmackDown wasn't that spectacular. We kicked it off with the draft picks, pretty much. As number one was Seth Rollins by Mick Foley and Steph. And then Shane and Daniel Bryan picked Dean Ambrose, the WWE Champion. Number 2 pick for Raw was the Women's Champion, Charlotte. And number 2 for SmackDown was the phenomenal AJ Styles. Raw had their 3rd pick, even though I still think the rules to this, but I get that Raw is a 3-hour show. I get that they have the Cruiserweight division now, and they got to take a lot of people on the show. But, you know, I guess if Raw and SmackDown are still 2 hours, it'll be an even number of draft picks. But I do look at little SmackDown, they may have gotten a shorter end of the stick somewhat. There's a lot of saying, I kind of agree with that. As number 3, one of pretty much the top NXT guy from over there, Finn Balor, will be going to Monday Night Raw, which was as expected. I think some are really pissed that he didn't go to SmackDown because Raw, you know how they do on Raw with the bullshit they do. Pretty much then after that, John Cena went against Luke Gallows. He pretty much squashed him pretty much, so it wasn't much to say as Enzo and Cass and the rest of the club were out there. As we came back, number 4 was Roman Reigns. We knew Reigns was never going to leave Monday Night Raw. I know Vince would let him go over there, which, you know, also today is now the final day of his suspension. He will return to work tomorrow. Number 3, which I am actually happy to say, John Cena has finally returned to SmackDown, the show that he started on, which I'm glad there was no cop-out. I'll say this now, there was no cop-out at the end of the night, no bullshit draft pick to draft somebody back, so SmackDown did get John Cena as number 3, and I'm very, very happy to say that, because I was very pissed about 4 years ago. Number 5 was Brock Lesnar, which I gotta say, Monday Night Raw, they got the drugs on Raw. Reigns and Lesnar, this man has failed 2 drug tests, June 28th, and the day he fought of the fight of UFC, and what is WWE gonna do about this? Like, they're gonna have to suspend him, because if they don't suspend him, that's like playing favoritism. You see Reigns got suspended, we don't even know what he took, so they're gonna have to suspend Brock also. Really. The fact that you got caught 2 times, though, is kind of crazy, and all they're just saying they're going to get to the bottom of this, but the USDA has proved it, and WWE's going to have to say something. WWE said, oh, he hasn't been here since WrestleMania, so, yeah. Like, if you suspend him, he'll still probably be back for SummerSlam, but it's either that or they may they won't cancel the match. They got too much money riding on this match. But, you know, looking at that match, we're looking at, you know, Brock Lesnar was going to go to Raw regardless, but, you know, him and failing the test, I know WWE's not going to acknowledge it. They only acknowledge Brock Lesnar if he won UFC anyway, so with all this going on with him, WWE's going to probably have to suspend him, to be honest. Randy Orton, SmackDown, number 4. Good pick, which I am surprised Cena and Randy Orton on the same show. Number 6 for Raw was the New Day, the Tag Team Champions, since WWE wants to take a lot of titles right now. So, Cena and Orton on show, on SmackDown, we're going to see how that go. Something SmackDown is going to be the show to, you know, get more people on there, really, you know, the younger guys. Darren Young and Zack Ryder defeated Rusev and The Miz. No one really cared, to be honest. God, it's almost like they're treating the Intercontinental and, US like undercards for some reason now at this point. Xavier Woods winning against Bray Wyatt. But Bray Wyatt won, which wasn't much to say here, but, you know, getting to the match for Sunday. A lot of tag team matches on Sunday, by the way. Kane came out for a match as Kevin Owens was going to face him, but Sami Zayn pretty much attacked him from behind. Both of these guys began to brawl again, but Kane got the better of them and chokeslammed both of them in the ring. Raw then got Sami Zayn for number 7. Bray Wyatt went to SmackDown for number 5. Sasha Banks is now number 8 for Monday Night Raw. SmackDown got Becky Lynch. 9 got Chris Jericho. They are splitting a lot of women up, I see, though. Sasha Banks then went against Dana Brooke and Charlotte, which pretty much Charlotte won. This feud has gone nowhere, really. But Raw got the number 10 pick and took the U.S. title. Rusev and Lana, and SmackDown took Miz and Maurice number 7 with the Intercontinental title. Raw picked Kevin Owens. I was really hoping Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were gonna get separated, to be honest. But, you know, they got to keep this feud going, and they want to take all the Canadians. So, Owens on Raw. SmackDown, Baron Corbin, I give no craps for, really. It was just boring as hell on NXT. Raw got Enzo and Cass, which Raw was stealing tag team after tag team. Raw just wanted to tag these drafts, or have not really been the biggest thing, but they were just stealing. Chris Jericho going against Cesaro. Chris Jericho won. Raw took another tag team, which now the club is separated. They took Gallows and Anderson, but will Finn Balor reform the real club, or the Balor Club, or the Bullet Club, or whatever club it's going to be. SmackDown got a huge pick in for NXT. From NXT, American Alpha, Jason Jordan, and, you know, Chad Gable were ready, willing, and Gable, folks. So, I like to call them Haas and Benjamin sometimes, but these guys have never really had a bad match on NXT, especially in the TakeOver or the tag team. And that's a very great pick for American Alpha. Raw picked the Big Show for number 14. SmackDown picked Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler needs a lot. And another NXT pick from Monday Night Raw, Nia Jax, which I was actually surprised to see. I thought it was going to be Bayley, but Nia Jax got picked. 16. Raw took Neville. We need those cruiserweights. SmackDown took Natalya for 11. Raw took Cesaro for 17. SmackDown took Del Rio for 12. And Sheamus, Raw. Who gives a crap about half of these picks? Raw just keeps getting the better of these. But who really wants Sheamus? No one wants Sheamus on this show. And then it was the WWE title on the line. It's Raw versus SmackDown. Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. Dean Ambrose won after Seth Rollins did that superplex, or going to the Falcon Arrow, but Ambrose dodged it and hit the Dirty Deeds and won. Shane and Daniel Bryan celebrated with the Yes chant. This show wasn't that much to say, but the draft continued on the network, which we got more people, pretty much then. As there were more people part of the draft, and who's going to which show, we continue on the network. And this is what we kind of got from here. As Renee Young, Corey Grace, Booker, and Lita pretty much hosted it. Going to Monday Night Raw, we have the Golden Truth. Usos go to SmackDown. Titus goes to Raw. Kane goes to SmackDown, which I knew they were going to separate Kane and Big Show. And Paige goes to Raw, which, you know, was kind of crazy. This was kind of a dick move, really. And, yeah, I almost feel bad for Del Rio, because Del Rio couldn't even pretend he was happy on SmackDown. I think Del Rio was pissed because now he is separated from Paige, which they are together. Some people think this is going to end up like the whole Matt Hardy and Lita thing when Matt went to SmackDown and Lita was on Raw, and then, you know, what happened, she cheated on him and went to Edge. Will Paige cheat on him, pretty much. So it was a bit of a dick move, really, for Del Rio. And Del Rio just did not look happy. He just looked very depressed. He couldn't even pretend it all the way. And Cesaro wasn't even happy about this. He almost like he was gonna. I thought Cesaro was gonna get picked earlier, and Cesaro didn't even want to be here. To be honest, it was almost like a shoot almost with him. Like, he'd rather been on SmackDown, because that's supposed to be the wrestling show, with the, you know, Raw's all the entertainment show, but he said great the best. But even Cesaro just didn't want to be on Raw either. He wanted to be on SmackDown. Maybe we need to trade these two, because they don't want to be on these shows. Um, Other drafts: Darren Young and Bob Backlund, Raw. Kalisto, SmackDown. Sin Cara, Raw, which he got into a fight with one of the vaudevillains that tonight. Simon Gotch, we don't know what they fought over, but we just know they had a fight. Naomi, SmackDown, well, at least she's with her dude, Uso. Jack Swagger, Raw. Ascension, SmackDown. Why would SmackDown take the Ascension, to be honest? I just question some of these picks, to be honest, of where this is going. And it's like kind of whatever in a way with some of these drafts. But as we continue to the draft, I think Kalisto tried to stay excited, but he's on SmackDown. I don't know why they put Botchamania Sin Cara on Raw. I don't care what Tuna called that. Also going to Monday Night Raw, Team 3D, the Dudleys. Thank God they didn't split them up again. They don't even know Reverend Devon. Zack Ryder, SmackDown. Summer Rae, Raw. Apollo Crews, SmackDown. Mark Henry, Raw, which I kind of wish he was going to SmackDown. I loved it when Mark Henry got drafted back in 2011 and went to SmackDown because it changed the whole game up for him, and he became the World Heavyweight Champion, and he became a great monster heel, which was just awesome. It's unfortunate to what they do to Mark Henry nowadays, just job at almost everything, and made him look like a weakling at this point. But I missed 2011 with Mark Henry. I was very happy when he won the World Heavyweight Championship. It changed the game for him a lot. And from NXT, going to SmackDown, Alexa Bliss. That girl with fat ass. I love it. Alexa Bliss is really good too. Next, as when we continue the draft and everything, moving on. Who else was what picked here? Just look it up real quick. Just making sure. I already said the Dudleys. Yes. As we continue to draft, Monday Night Raw, Braun Strowman, the Wyatt family is officially broken up. And what's funny about it is, what's funny about this is that the Wyatt family are broken up, and I hear Braun Strowman's going to get some giant push now. So, where is that going to go? I don't know why they keep breaking out the Wyatt family. Luke Harper was not in this draft because of injury. I know there are a lot of other people that aren't in the draft because of injuries. Tamina's not in it. Emma's not in it. Undertaker, I have no idea what the Undertaker is. He's a wild card, I guess. Or the Undertaker is part of the draft in that. But Strowman on Raw is just not going to do good because Vince, he's got to keep the big guy, so he's going to give them some giant push for no reason. Breezango, SmackDown. Bo Dallas, Raw. God help us all on this pick because no one wants this pick, and I thought it was funny when they said she was drafted to Pornhub, but Eva Marie, SmackDown. Good luck to you, giving us the scraps now. Puerto Rico's, who's only had the one match going to Monday Night Raw. They've only had one match. One match! What else have they done? Vaudevillains, SmackDown. Next part of the draft. Alicia Fox, Raw. Eric Rowan goes to SmackDown with Wyatt. Dana Brooke goes back to Raw with Charlotte. Another NXT pick. Mojo Rawley on SmackDown for some reason. What are we trying to get the Hype Bros back? He's not really that good. I'm not a fan of that team anyways. And isn't Ryder facing for the US title this Sunday? And Rusev's on Raw? And it's kind of reverse. Miz is on SmackDown and Darren Young's on Raw. Are we trying to switch the titles up in that? Curtis Axel, Monday Night Raw. And the final pick, going to SmackDown from NXT, Carmella. Which now, she is now once again away from Enzo and Cass, and they will not be on the same team with each other. And as they wrapped it up, poor Heath Slater just had to close the show saying, isn't that great? He sits there in the room like, what is it? What is he going to get drafted? I guess he's a free agent right now until they figure it out. So, yeah. I don't know how, but I guess they got to figure out one way or another. But that is the official draft and then broadcast team. For Raw, Michael Cole, Corey Graves, good promotion, and Byron Saxton. SmackDown, Mauro Ranallo, JBL, and David Otunga, but Jerry Lawler will now be on the pre-shows, pretty much. I'm surprised they don't move him back to the table, but we'll see how that goes. But, you know, looking at the drafts and everything of who is on which show and where they are going is insane, pretty much, with some of these things. And some people wanted this, the titles. Where would the titles go? You see, SmackDown hosts the WWE Championship and Intercontinental Champion. Raw hosts the Tag Team Champion, Women's Champion, and U.S. Champion. Could they make a Cruiserweight? I don't know, because some of these guys have got a Cruiserweights anyways. And another thing the internet also mentioned with the titles, in my opinion, the WWE Women's and Tag Team titles should just go wherever they feel like, really. They just keep going in the show until they lose it. That's one thing I must agree with. But, you know, looking at these drafts and who's going where, it's just like, will any of these guys go anywhere? And did SmackDown get a shorter end of the stick? In some ways, yes. Because, like, Raw somewhat took the better guys, and SmackDown somewhat took the better guys. But let's recap the roster one more time. For Monday Night Raw, it will be Seth Rollins, Charlotte, Finn Balor. Hopefully they don't screw that up. Roman Reigns, drugs. Brock Lesnar, drugs. It's getting funny now. New Day, Tag Team Champions. Sami Zayn, Sasha Banks, Chris Jericho, U.S. Champion Rusev, Kevin Owens, Enzo and Cass, The Club, The Big Show, Nia Jax, Neville, Cesaro, Sheamus, Golden Truth, Titus O'Neil, Paige, Darren Young, Sin Cara, Jack Swagger, Team 3D, Summer Rae, Mark Henry, Braun Strowman, Bo Dallas, Shining Stars, Alicia Fox, Dana Brooke, Curtis Axel, and SmackDown will have Dean Ambrose, AJ Styles, John Cena, Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, Becky Lynch, The Miz, Baron Corbin, American Alpha, Dolph Ziggler, Natalia Del Rio, Uso, Kane, Kalisto, Naomi, Ascension, Ryder, Cruz, Bliss, Breezango. Eva Marie counts as some pick, but I don't know what kind of pick she count as, but it's like whatever. Vaudevillains, Eric Rowan, Mojo Rawley, and Carmella. So, looking at this draft and who's going where, is Heath Slater the hottest free agent right now? I don't know. But where would The Undertaker get drafted? Which likely he'll go back to SmackDown like he was before for so many years. But the dead man will go back to SmackDown. There's no doubt about that. The dead man will go back to SmackDown, where he's been on there for years. Do I agree with some of these picks? I don't know. Is it the same crap, but just different people on the show? Most likely. What is the meaning for all this? Will things be the same by next week? I don't know. Do I agree with some of these picks? Yes. NXT mostly went to SmackDown, and Raw got 2 NXT picks. SmackDown got 4. Do I agree with most of the NXT picks? Yes. I just don't know why they brought Nia Jax up already, and who really wanted Mojo Rawley? Okay? Let's be serious. Who really wanted him on this show? So looking at all these picks and who's going where, even the women at one point also. You got Eva Marie, which was nothing on NXT, nothing now, should go to the unemployment line and just leave. Leave! Carmella, which has been good on NXT, Naomi, Natalia, Becky Lynch, I think that's it for the women. And for Raw, you have Alicia Fox, Summer Rae, Paige, Nia Jax, Charlotte, Dana Brooke, Sasha Banks. Man, they got more women on this show for a reason. Will there be 2 titles to each show? I don't know. But I think the titles are just going to have 1 for 1, really. The titles will just travel. Women's champion, go anywhere they want. Tag team champion, go over where they want. WWE champion, go over where they want. Will there be a Cruiserweight championship? I don't know. Right now, SmackDown holds the WWE title. Raw only has, well, Dean Ambrose got defended against 2 people anyways from Raw. Reigns and Rollins, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm not sure where this will end up. But that's my thoughts on the draft. I'm out of here. See you guys later. Peace.